I never once doubted my wife Sarah. Not in 8 years together. Not even after 5 years of marriage. She had always been my constant, my anchor. Smart, kind, graceful. The kind of woman who turned heads and made other men jealous that I had been the one lucky enough to call her mine. She wasn't just beautiful on the outside. She had this quiet strength, a warmth that made me feel safe. I admired her. I loved her. I trusted her more than I trusted anyone else in the world. And all of that was destroyed in a single cruel afternoon. It was a Wednesday, just another regular midweek day. I wasn't supposed to be home. As a project manager, my work hours were brutal, predictable to the minute. Sarah knew my schedule inside out. That day, however, a power outage at the office meant we got to leave early. Instead of calling ahead, I decided to do something thoughtful, spontaneous. I picked up her favorite takeout, thinking how surprised and happy she'd be. It wasn't an anniversary. It wasn't her birthday. I just missed her. I just wanted to see her smile. I pulled into the driveway. Everything looked just as it always did. The lawn was neat. The curtains drawn halfway, like she always liked them during the day. Nothing seemed out of place. But the moment I stepped inside, I felt it, something intangible. The air felt heavy, as if the house itself was holding its breath. And then I noticed the smell. Cologne. Not mine. It was subtle but unmistakable. Sharp. Masculine. New. It hit me in the gut like a warning. I tried to reason with myself. Maybe she had company, maybe a friend had stopped by. But something inside me, something primal, whispered no. My steps slowed as I walked through the living room, my eyes scanning for anything out of place. The food bag trembled in my hand. My ears strained for any sound. That's when I heard it. Voices. Low. Muffled. From upstairs. A man's voice. Followed by a soft laugh. Her laugh. My heart started pounding, hard and fast. And the air felt like it had turned to smoke. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe she was just on the phone. Maybe the sound was coming from the TV. But still I moved quietly. I didn't call her name. I didn't announce I was home. I just listened. Step by slow step, I climbed the staircase. My hands were shaking. My breath shallow. My brain screamed at me to stop, to turn back. But my body moved forward, like it already knew what I was about to find. When I reached the bedroom, the door was open just a crack, enough to catch a glimpse through the vanity mirror across the room. What I saw made my blood run cold. Sarah was standing in the middle of our bedroom. She wasn't alone. There was a man with her, tall, lean, confident. His shirt was unbuttoned, hanging loose around him. He was grinning at her. That smug, familiar grin men wear when they think they own the moment. And Sarah, my Sarah, was standing inches from him, barefoot, wearing nothing but one of my old shirts. Her hand rested gently on his chest. She was laughing. Laughing. The world around me stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. It was as if time had folded in on itself, and all I could do was watch. Everything I believed in, everything I had built my life around, shattered right there in that room. The betrayal wasn't just physical. It was spiritual. It struck something deep inside me. A pain so raw I could feel it vibrating in my bones. Then something inside me snapped. I slammed the door open, the handle smashing into the wall with a violent crack. Both of them turned, startled. The man stiffened, clearly sizing me up, while Sarah gasped and stumbled back a step, her face draining of color. "Mark," she started. "Don't." I cut her off, my voice cold dead. I barely recognized it myself. "Don't say a damn word." The man glanced at Sarah, then bent to grab his shirt, clearly preparing to leave like nothing had happened. But I wasn't going to make it that easy. "Who the hell are you?" I demanded, stepping into his path. "Listen, man," he began. "I didn't know." "Didn't know what?" I snarled. "That she was married." His silence was enough. His eyes flicked to Sarah, who suddenly couldn't look at me. She didn't deny it. Didn't defend him. Didn't defend us. "Get out," I said, pointing toward the hallway. He hesitated for a second, looked at her again, like he was waiting for permission, like she belonged to him. That's what broke me. He finally walked past, grabbing his shoes, his belt. I didn't move. Didn't follow him. Didn't care. When the front door shut behind him, the silence that followed was suffocating. I turned to Sarah, staring at the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. How long? I asked, voice steady, too steady. She looked up, eyes glistening. Mark, how long? I repeated, and this time there was no escape. She swallowed hard, then whispered, a few months. Months. I felt like I had been kicked in the chest. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I couldn't recognize the person standing in front of me. Was any of it real, Sarah? I asked. Or was I just the fool bankrolling your little love story? She broke then. Tears spilled down her cheeks. It wasn't like that, she said, barely audible. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Then what was it like? Please explain it to me. Because all I see is my wife, giving herself to another man in our bed, in my clothes, while I was out working to give you everything. She wiped her tears, but I didn't care anymore. Her pain didn't mean anything to me. Not now. I didn't plan this, she said weakly. It just happened. No, Sarah, I said, shaking my head slowly. For something to just happen, it has to be a mistake. A moment. This was a choice. A choice you made over and over again. She said nothing, just stood there in silence, wrapped in my shirt, surrounded by the ruin of everything we had built. I turned, walked to the closet, grabbed a suitcase, and began throwing my clothes into it. Mark, please, she said, coming closer. Can we just talk? I zipped up the bag and slung it over my shoulder. We just did. She reached for me, but I pulled away. I thought you were the perfect wife, Sarah, I said, shaking my head slowly. I really did, but I was wrong. And then I walked out, leaving her behind, standing in the wreckage of the perfect little life she'd torn apart with her own hands.